Next up, we have how to jumpstart your car if you ever leave your lights on, which I do like 7 times a time.
Yeah, Raquel's done it 2 times in the last month, so she's getting pretty good at this. So what happens when you go to get in your car and your battery's dead? Maybe you've left your lights on, maybe your battery's just gone bad. You can still charge a car or jump start a car. It's another way to phrase it when someone has jumper cables. So it's always a good idea if you have an emergency roadside kit to make sure the kit includes jumper cables. So the car won't start. First thing you want to do is you need to find someone willing to lend their car as the donor vehicle to do the jump start. First thing you do is you're going to start the other vehicle. We're going to simulate that now. Car is running. Then the next thing you want to do is you always want to hook your jumper cables up. Let's start off with jumper cables. Most jumper cables are going to have black and red to designate positive and negative, or in some circumstances like this one where there's just 2 colors, it's almost always expected that the negative will be black, and then your positive, regardless of the color, would be the opposing color. You want to so when you're looking for, okay, where's my battery on the more current cars, you're not going to locate a battery. A lot of times they're under the back seat or hidden in the trunk. But the original equipment manufacturers will run the appropriate locations under the hood for a positive terminal connection and a negative lug ground. As you guys know, black is always negative ground. So for this vehicle, the battery is located somewhere inside the vehicle. We're going to go ahead and hook up our negative first.
So it has like a little positive on the top.
That's right,
that's
positive.
How you know it's positive.
And then, again, there's no need for a negative denotation because a negative is always on ground. Ground means to the chassis. Okay, so the donor vehicle is running. We're going to go ahead and hook up the charging vehicle first. We're going to start off with the ground. Okay, now you got to be careful here. You don't want to tangle them up. Then you're going to come over. I'm going to hook up the ground on the other vehicle. Okay, okay. Now, before you hook up your positive, just know that as soon as you connect this to the positive terminal, the other side is going to have an electrical source. So what you can't do is you can't touch this to ground or any other metal, because as soon as you connect it, it's going to be live. So you want to hold this other one in your hand. You want to go ahead and hook up the running vehicle first to the positive. Okay. Then we're going to go ahead and hook up the vehicle on this one to the positive, like such. And then we're going to ask you to get in the vehicle and turn it over. Now, the one thing you might find is when you first turn the key over, this car is going to be needing a lot of energy in order to start, and it's going to be drawing the energy off the vehicle that's running. I always recommend that the person get in the other vehicle that's running and accelerate the gas pedal a little bit, maybe to like 2,500, 2,600 RPMs. This way you're increasing the amount of electricity being created by the alternator, increasing the electricity source, so you can go ahead and deliver more energy to the vehicle that's needing it. At that point, you'll hear the vehicle start to turn over. Once it starts, leave them both plugged in for at least 5 minutes, giving the battery ample time to charge. And you'll see, hopefully on your dashboard on the vehicle that was dead, you'll see the battery symbol start to get back to a normal level, should be right in the center. If it doesn't, a lot of times an engine light might come on. That'll denote that the battery's either failed, the alternator could have failed, or some other part of the electrical system has failed. Just know that what I typically like to do is once I disconnect, so at this point both vehicles are running, we feel comfortable now. Before you turn the vehicles off, the first thing you want to do is disconnect the donor vehicle. Okay, positive first. Once you have both positives disconnected, you go ahead and remove the negatives, the ground on this side. At this point, the vehicle that was dead should be running independently of itself. I typically like to say, hey, please turn the lights on to see how dim are the lights. A lot of times if the lights are really, really dim, that's an indication that there's something going on with the electrical system. If the lights are working fine, if the battery's gauge inside the dashboard is getting back to normal, I would say the best thing you could do is drive that vehicle directly to the destination, typically home or to a parent's house. This way you could turn it off safely and try to start it again. If you get to your location and you turn it off and it won't restart, then you've got a systematic problem that's bigger than just the battery being drained. But in most cases, it should restart after you've driven it 15 minutes as the onboard electrical system for the vehicle completely will charge that battery. But again, you want to be careful. You don't try to run off 5 minutes later, stop at a store, turn it off, and now you're stranded for a second time. Okay? That's it. That's how you jumpstart a car.